Okay, we are on. Hey everybody, how's it going? To those watching later, sorry we missed you. Enjoy what is going to be a little bit of fun here. What day is it? Wednesday, November 18th. I'm a little scatterbrained, so let me collect myself here. What we're doing today, specifically at 9 o'clock, is that we are going to have Paige Devon, who starred in Afraid to Speak, a movie from Riverpoint Studios that'll be coming out November 23rd, publicly, worldwide, for free at riverpointstudios.com. We're going to be talking to her about Afraid to Speak, a film that we shot 6 years ago in August 2014. It's been a while, so we're very excited to finally share this film. What I wanted to do, just because of COVID and such, I wanted to talk to some of the actors live in some setting and just share stories about the production, stories about sort of how the film was made, some of its shortcomings, because the budget was less than $1,000, so it was a bit of an uphill battle to get it done. But just to sort of share stories, because it's something that I think everybody who is involved with it is very proud of, and we are very much ready to share this thing. So give me 1 sec, because I'm going to do a little push here on Facebook, and I forgot to grab my headphones. So give me 1 second. Stare at the Star Wars poster while you wait. Okay. Sorry. 1 second. This is off to a riveting start. So I have notes, and if anybody can read those, I'll give you $40. Okay, it's been a long day. What is Afraid to Speak? I should probably explain that before we invite Paige in here. Afraid to Speak is a feature-length film that we made, as I said, in 2014, and the story is about a young man named Nolan, played by Taylor Olson, and his battle with depression. But in our film, we present depression as a physical manifestation, specifically a man, played by Bob Mann in the film. The story follows Nolan as he loses his job, sort of loses his structure of life, and is having a hard time getting back to normal and dealing with himself being alone. But he runs into a childhood friend, Ellie, played by Paige Devon, who we're going to be talking to in 7 minutes, and things start to look up until Sam rears his ugly head once again and tries to destroy Nolan's life and remove any bit of happiness that he can find with Ellie. We made this for very, very little money. We ran an Indiegogo campaign back in 2014 that made, I think the final was like 9% or something of our actual goal. But determination, talent, work ethic, and just sort of that kick-ass nature of the crew and cast made this thing possible. Over the years, we've had it show in 2 film festivals, the Showcase Truro Film Festival and the Parsboro Film Festival, and we can't thank them enough for actually showing the film, giving the film a chance. And we, starting in 2018, we had the film available on Eastlink Community Television. It aired on their channel in, I believe it was January 2018, and now it's available on their on-demand service, which is really cool. But we've never released it publicly. We've never released it in a way that you can watch it without any sort of subscription. You can watch it without any hurdles or anything like that. That's changing this Monday, November 23rd, which we're very excited about. What is coming on release day? So on the 23rd, we will be releasing the entire film, free to watch, on our website, riverpointstudios.com. And we're also including some bonus features. So you'll be able to watch a deleted scenes featurette, which shows some of the scenes that we had shot but didn't make the final film. We have an outtakes and bloopers reel, which is pretty much 75% Bob Mann, because he is one of the funniest human beings on the planet, and I think he kept all of us sane during shooting this. As well, the biggest bonus feature we have is that we'll be starting to release a documentary series called Opening Up, the Making of Afraid to Speak, which is a over 2 hour long behind the scenes look at how the film was made, from the very first idea, that spark of idea in 2012, all the way up to public release, which is happening in 6 days? 5 days. 5 days, yeah, 5 days. The reason we're releasing that episodically is that while editing it, I realized that my original goal of having it be about an hour 20, hour 30 wasn't feasible because there was just a lot of information in it. And it sort of served itself better to be a series. So starting on the 23rd, we'll have episode 1 up, which is the prologue. And then periodically throughout, I'd say about the next month and a half, we'll release all the other episodes. And then at the end, we will have an option for the full, roughly 2 hour, 20-minute documentary. So if you want to watch it all in one run, we'll have that as an option. What else? What did I miss? I think that was pretty much it. Before we get to Paige in 3 minutes, this film, I talk a lot about this in the opening up documentary, but this film has had quite a life prior to it, being released here in 5 days. And it's been sort of a hard thing to sort of talk about because of the subject matter. And it's kind of ironic with the film being about, this guy dealing with depression and being afraid to talk about it. The film has taken so long because a lot of it had to do with just being completely honest. Me not being ready to release the film, I guess. Me not being able to sort of look at this thing and be like, okay, it's time to put this out and sort of put the fear away and share this film. But the past 2 weeks, that has changed drastically. And I've become much more excited about the idea of this film finally coming out and everybody being able to see the film in its entirety. I'm quite excited for that. So in less than 2 minutes, we're going to talk to Paige, Devon, who played Ellie in the film. She gave us a lot for this film. She put up with a lot of shit from me making this film. She really genuinely fixed, I think, what was a bit of a, I won't say empty shell, but I didn't exactly give her a lot to work with the script, especially with the character of Ellie. But what Paige did with the character was take it and turn it into something that was absolutely crucial to Afraid to Speak's success and its story making the most sense it possibly could. Because Ellie is a very important, I guess, point of view within the film. And, our main two sort of characters in terms of the depression side is Nolan dealing with depression, and then Sam, the physical manifestation of depression. But sort of caught in the middle of that and the driving light of the film is Ellie, played by Paige Devon. So why don't we get this show on the road? I've never done this before, so if I screw this up, I'm sorry. I'm also going to try and watch my language. And let's see if we can't get her. Invitation sent. Hey.
Hi.
How's it going?
Oh, it's going.
Good. So, welcome to a live. It's been a very long time getting to this point.
Yeah, just a minute.
6 years, nothing too long. So my question for you to start this out, and I think you'll get a kick out of this, is the starting point to any actor coming onto a film is the audition.
Yeah.
Right?
What audition?
Can you explain to me how I set the tone from day one with the very planned out and information heavy audition that you partook in?
I mean, we had contacted we had connected earlier about another film that you were doing, and you were like, hey, well, I have a project in the future. Maybe we can get together for that. I was like, yeah, sure. Just let me know. It's cool. And then sure enough, I got a message saying like, hey, would you be interested in checking out this script? We can get together and talk about it, just kind of read through it and go over what we're thinking. So I show up and I walk into the room and there's a camera and it's an audition. And I was like, yeah, awesome. So Audition prepped, not necessarily, but actors hopping on their feet was still a lot of fun. But yeah, I had no idea what I was signing up for at all. I thought it was a conversation, just like a
Yeah,
hangout. Get to know
with
each other.
with a little asterisk that said, also, can you perform this script I'm going to hand you the second you
Yeah.
walk in?
Can it be
Well,
memorized?
well, it's amazing to me too because
No.
like I very much set you up for failure without realizing it. I don't know what I was thinking. I think it just slipped my mind. But you took it and you managed to nail it with absolutely zero prep time and zero understanding that it was an audition. So it speaks a lot to the fact that you can improvise, I
Uh,
guess.
and the writing, so it's fine.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
Uh,
Um, Good Lord. Speaking of the writing, speaking of the script,
mm,
when you first, do you remember what version of the script you got? Was it the version that took place on a lake?
I think so. Like it was very, very different than what we ended up doing. And I think it was only like the one scene pretty much, and it was pretty standard, but you also talked kind of like a breakdown of what the idea behind it was. And I just found the idea very intriguing. And I was like, okay, like the script to start, but I'm pretty sure the names were all different. And it
Yeah.
was it was bare bones, but I don't know. I was just really I mean, also I'm fresh out of school and excited to have a role, but I think I was also just really excited. The concept was very unique and original, and I think you were speaking so passionately about it that it really intrigued me. And uh, just the content and what we were kind of going to dive into is something close to me. So I was, I was like sold the first thing I saw. I was like, I'm ready. Let's do this.
Well, that's good. I've recently reread some of the early drafts of the script, and how anybody agreed to do this is sort of beyond me. But I think it is true that there was sort of that nugget of, here's the point of this. And
Yeah.
despite all the maybe immature writing that I was doing, I think we all sort of saw what could be.
Yeah. I
Um,
think it spoke to each of us involved in either the way that it needed to, or we could see it from some type of vantage point
totally.
within the
Yeah.
characters. So yeah.
What? How did you feel when you realized that the old Indiegogo that we had launched was reaching at about probably 8% of what we asked for?
Uh, a little stressed out. I was just mostly concerned that um it wasn't going to be able to go, like we weren't going to be able to do it.
Mm,
Um, I mean, it was like we had kind of been through the process. I think it was pretty much cast at that point, and uh, I was just, I was like, I really want to do this. I want to have that. I want to be able to be on like a set. I want to be able to tell this story because I just, I don't want to spoil anything, but the whole premise behind it is like, it's very moving, and I think most people will be able to kind of commit to it. So I was super stressed out, but then I remember you reaching out and being like, okay, let's like meet for a coffee. And then I was like, oh God, here it comes. We're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. And
well,
thankfully
you're
that was not the case.
well. When I originally sent you the message, I was there was very much going to be a conversation that was very
Yeah.
different than what I think the night before, like the literal night before, is when Taylor and Justin sort of convinced me to do it.
Yeah.
But it's funny that you tell me that you're stressed because I was having near panic attacks all day. Because for
I,
whatever reason, I had this vision of you in my head of like, okay, I have to ask her for like, can you do this for a little bit more time, but a little less than what we asked, and all this stuff. And I expected you just to throw a coffee in my face and leave the cafe, but thankfully
yeah, that
it
screams
wasn't
that.
that. I don't know
Absolutely
why.
not. No, I'm like, nah, let's do it. Let's roll.
Yeah, and you you had that attitude the whole way through, even when we were filming on duck shit covered lakefronts.
I don't know if it's the Valley Girl in me or what, or if it's just determination, but honestly, it didn't phase me. I was just, it gives us good stories. I think it also, again, speaks to like the message that we're sharing with people. We're gonna do it, even if we have to freeze to butt in the water and I don't know, keep jumping in and out of a pool for continuity's sake. And by pool, I mean dirty lake.
It's funny too because that scene, there's like there's one single shot when we cut back to you and you're like bare bones dry, and then the
Yeah.
next scene like you're fresh out of the water. Hopefully nobody will
It
notice. I
works.
said it out
No, it
loud. Yeah,
works.
absolutely. Shooting wise, this was all shot in August of 2014.
Wild.
Do you have any memory? It is insane. It's been 6 years. Do you have any memories in terms of what you felt was, your favorite scene to shoot?
Uh, hmm. Oh, that's a toughie. There's I really liked, and I guess uh oh, I don't want to spoil it though. There's a moment between Ellie and Nolan where they're kind of really delving into the thick of it, and it's after like a very high moment comes the very low moment. And I think we were all so aware of that, and the energy in the room was kind of prepared for that as well. And everybody was very respectful of what we were doing and giving us the space to do that. And it wasn't, because I mean, heads up, we were a cast that liked to laugh a lot and get off track and
What do you mean?
sing Taylor Swift songs for hours on end.
And
Um,
Akon. Don't forget Akon.
so much Akon. Uh, there was a lot of that, but when it came down to the nitty gritty, and I think just the way that it's shot is so visceral and so you feel like you're in it. You're not watching it, you're in the middle of it. And I think it really captured it well. I think it was to the point, and I think that's the experience of it. I'm pretty sure.
Cool.
And then also there's a really cool shot, kind of, it's not it's like a Nolan thought way, but the way that we shot it, we were on the wharf, I think, and it was daytime, and it kind of gets layered on top. So cool. It
Yes,
looks
yeah.
awesome. I love doing that. So
It's one of
fun.
the dream sequences. I don't think that spoils anything.
Okay,
Is
cool.
the scene you're talking about? Is that the one outside by the car?
Yeah, and
Okay.
also like the moments before that,
Yeah.
just the whole breakdown of how we were able to angle it, and yeah, I loved every minute of that. It was fun. And it was also, I mean, I was fresh out of school with Taylor, so it was a lot of fun to be able to kind of delve back into our roots together. So it was like a safe, great space, and yeah, very raw and in in it, I guess.
Yeah. There's a photo. We didn't get many behind the scenes photos, but there's a photo of that day where it's you, Bob, and Taylor all like crowded around a script. It's one
Yeah,
of my favorite photos we got from
yeah.
that
It
scene.
was, you mean the script with all of the like dividers in it and the thousands of tabbed notes
Your note
broken down?
taking is insane. Like I've tried to reach that level in the 6 years since, and I'm still not there.
No, I'm just insane. It's fine.
Well, it's good. I said this before you popped on. I think you took Ellie to a whole new level and gave her a lot more to do and a lot more
Well,
purpose than I gave
I
her.
I think that was also conversations that we had together though, because I loved telling the story from Nolan's standpoint, but I also wanted it to be um, I wanted to have what it's like to be on the receiving end of
Yeah.
living with that, and um, having seen so many people around me go through what Nolan's gone through. I really wanted everyone to be able to see like, okay, I'm the Ellie in this situation, and this is how it feels, and this is how it affects, not just, hey, I'm here to be the girl and help you out.
Yes.
But yeah, you want to
Totally.
be able to see your side of things, I guess.
It's crucial too, because I think it's the same with David's character Bill, sort of having
Mm,
that completely different generations output on
yeah.
sort of what was going on. To sort of jump from favorite to something else, what did you find the most challenging when we were making this film? Obviously, there was a lot of budgetary constraints, but from sort of from a production standpoint or acting standpoint, anything, what was sort of your biggest challenge making it?
I mean, I think personally for myself, it was the first time I had done anything film at all. I came
Hmm.
from a theater background, so that threw me for a little spin. I was like, oh, okay, this is the level that we go at now. And um, it was just an entirely different medium than I was used to. Uh, but other than that, I think it was very early hours and very late nights. I recall falling asleep in the middle of set more than
Oh, right.
once. Uh,
I think that may have
Specifically
made the
one
film.
time. That's excellent. That's good. I'm so method. I think it was just, yeah, and just staying kind of focused, but I don't know. I think it was like the perfect group of people to be in it. Like we were all so, we didn't give a crud about the fact that we were working like crazy, and maybe some of the conditions were less than ideal or not necessarily like
Yeah,
approved, you know. There are a
a
few
little
moments
bit.
on the docks, but
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
uh, but other than that, like I don't think anything was like super, I don't, I don't hard. I don't know. I don't, yeah. I think we were all just so determined that even if it was like a tough moment, we were, there was a way past it. There was a way to get over it. We just threw it over our shoulder and we're like, let's just keep going.
There's a lot of determination from everybody involved, which is sort of
Everyone.
amazing because I think there's so much room for, hey, let's just give up, but I didn't feel a single bit of that on this from anybody,
No,
which really helped. When was the first time you saw the film? Was it the festival, the
the
showcase churro?
festival.
What
Yeah.
did you think when you first saw it?
Oh, at first all so weird to be like watching myself because I mean in theater you're performing once and then you're like, okay, bye, hope I did the job. I'm
Yeah.
relying now on audience critique. Um, so after I got over that, I don't know, I am really happy with the outcome. I I had chills, I cried. I know my family, my mom cried, but she's a crier. I was just so proud and so moved by how we were, I guess, how we were able to complete it, and with such a tiny time frame and such like small budget. It's out there, and I think I was also just moved in the fact that hopefully people will be able to relate to this and understand and see themselves in a part of it, and then listen to the message that it's giving and hopefully feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like all kinds of crazy emotions. I don't actually remember leaving my seat, but other than that, it was just amazing. I feel like I'm gonna feel that way again when I watch it this time because it's been so long.
It's gonna feel weird when I press publish on Monday, just knowing that, oh, okay, this is out now.
Yeah,
Well,
I
I
feel
remember
like
that night or that right after the showing, because I think it was like early showing, you lent me your car so I could go drive and take
yeah,
a think by myself.
just
'Cause,
take a minute.
yeah,
Poor car.
hey, its legacy now lives in a
It
film
lives
forever.
forever, forever. God.
So, how do you feel about, because obviously, like I said, this is 6 years of sort of waiting for me to get off my ass and finish this thing. How do you feel about knowing that, in 5 days, this is going to be finally released?
Uh, Nervous because again, it was like my first film kind of gig, and I mean, I was also a lot younger then, so I'm looking at it and just the actor in me I know is probably going to cringe several times. Uh,
You, have you
you,
seen my scenes in this?
hey, star actor definitely needs a guest appearance award for sure. Bring him to the Emmys.
Okay.
Um, I'm very nervous, but I'm also really excited because I think it's perfect timing for it, considering what's going on in the world and considering a lot of us are kind of very isolated, whether physically or emotionally. I think it will be a, a gift to some people who need it the most. And I think it will also be a nice reminder to myself to be able to think about it and talk about it and feel it. And it's not a bad thing to be able to share your feelings. Because I think, I mean, right now I'm living in Toronto and the pace of life is a lot different than it used to be. And a lockdown is happening still
Yep.
pretty much for us. So I don't know, I'm very nervous, but I'm also very excited and I'm kind of excited, I think excited to learn from myself and us as a group as well. I'm excited to learn from who we were 6 years ago.
Totally. Sort of rewatching it and doing the final little changes that have done. I came to this conclusion that I'm insanely proud that we, no matter what our careers do or life does, we can all sort
Yeah.
of say, yeah, in 2014, we all sort of started on this ragtag
Oh,
film about depression that
yeah.
is,
I wouldn't have
in my
changed the
opinion, important.
experience for anything. I don't think it was the people we were with were amazing. The story needs to be told, and again, it was I don't I think a lot of sets, especially like lots of money and stuff, I think sometimes you kind of forget why you're actually doing this. So I think this is a grassroots. Like we were all very determined and in love with kind of everything that was going on. So I think it's humbling.
Yeah,
It's humbling.
very much so. Speaking of that, what would you like to see the legacy of this film be, and sort of what do you
Oh
find
wow.
is its importance of existing as a story?
Uh, I mean, I think it's everywhere. It's in everything that we see, watch, hear, and live. And again, especially in 2020 with things the way that they are and people again being so isolated, I hope that it speaks to someone and I hope that they show it to someone else or they go to it when they're at their lowest or even at their highest, or I hope that they just think of like a line or a moment or just remember the type anything. And yeah, I just hope that it helps people, I think,
Yeah,
at the end of the day. Whether it's just watching it or remembering it, yeah. Because I mean, I think making it and putting all the labor that we did into it, it changed, I think, me and helped me with a lot of stuff that was kind of going on at the time. So yeah, I
totally.
just hope it helps people.
No, I agree. Um, so just to sort of as we wrap this up a little bit, I think reading back and sort of watching the film again, there's a lot of moments that I sort of look at now and I'm like, man, I wish I would have written that differently, and I wish I would have
Hmm.
maybe propped Ellie up a bit more, just because my first feature script, I was I think 21 at the time or something like that.
Hmm.
But then I look at the final film and I see that between the script and the film itself, the character of Ellie found a purpose.
Hmm.
She found a heart. She found a perspective that I think is insanely crucial and something you can't remove from the story. And I think
Yeah.
it elevates that film to, a level that it never had any right to get to.
Hmm.
But you guys brought something to it that was just incredible. I had a conversation with Bob one time, who plays Sam in the film, and it was after he'd first seen the film, and he said that this film had no right to be as good as it ended up. And I think a lot of that has to do with you guys coming together and making these characters realistic, not
Hmm.
being sort of afraid to confront some very important issues and turn that into a story. And I can't thank you enough for turning Ellie into something that was incredibly, incredibly important to this story. So thank you for putting up with
I,
my BS six
not
years
at all.
ago.
Not at all. It was you, it was everyone, it was the perfect people at the perfect time and a lot of passion, a lot of love.
Big time.
It was good.
Uh, Thank you so much for everything you've
Pleasure.
given this film.
Good.
Thank you for joining us tonight. For everybody watching, film will be coming out November 23rd. I'll announce it right here at 8 p.m. We will be doing a premiere for the film on Monday. So we will be doing sort of a countdown until it's released. And then after that, the film will be released for all to see whenever, wherever, for life. Uh, and
Wild.
and even if YouTube gets shut down at some point, we'll find another place for it and we'll put it up. But Paige, thank you so much. I really
My
appreciate
pleasure.
it.
Thank
I'm
you.
sure we'll be talking soon.
Definitely.
Uh, yeah, and we will see you on release day on Monday.
Ooh, yes. Can't
All
wait.
right. See you
Bye.
later. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Okay, so that was Paige Devon. She plays Ellie in Afraid to Speak. She plays her phenomenally. I'm sort of genuinely underplaying what she brought to this film. She took sort of an immature writer's version of this character and turned it into something that was just incredibly crucial to the story, and a perspective that is so important to something like depression. So I cannot wait for you guys to see her in Afraid to Speak, November 23rd at ribbonpointstudios.com. But tomorrow, we're going to have one more actor live for you. And we're going to be talking with Nolan, played by Taylor Olson, tomorrow afternoon, as we talk to him about the film and the experience and all that. So check back tomorrow. I believe we're going to be doing it at 3 o'clock tomorrow. Myself and Taylor Olson will be talking all things Afraid to Speak as well. If anybody's just joining or if anybody's sort of catching the end of this, I will be uploading this conversation with myself and Paige to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff tomorrow. So you'll be able to watch it if you did miss it. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Afraid to Speak, once again, Monday, November 23rd, 8 p.m. Halifax time. It will make its premiere online. So we will see you then.